Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 196 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, where we use female words. This would be July 15th if you're starting at the new year. The laws of chaos. The laws of chaos can be brought to light, though never understood. Chaotic laws are hardly meaningful and therefore out of reason's sphere. Yet they appear to be an obstacle to reason and to truth. Let us then look upon them calmly, that we may look beyond them, understanding what they are, not what they would maintain. It is essential it be understood what they are for, because it is their purpose to make meaningless and to attack the truth. Here are the laws that rule the world you made. And yet they govern nothing, and need not be broken, merely looked upon and gone beyond. The first chaotic law is that the truth is different for everyone. Like all these principles, this one maintains that each is separate and has a different set of thoughts that set her off from others. This principle evolves from the belief there is a hierarchy of illusions. Some are more valuable and therefore true. Each one establishes this for herself and makes it true by her attack on what another values, and this justified because the values differ, and those who hold them seem to be unlike and therefore enemies. Think how this seems to interfere with the first principle of miracles. For this establishes degrees of truth among illusions, making it seem that some of them are harder to overcome than others. If it were realized that they are all the same and equally untrue, it would be easy then to understand that miracles apply to all of them. Errors of any kind can be corrected because they are untrue. When brought to truth instead of to each other, they merely disappear. No part of nothing can be more resistant to the truth than can another. The second law of chaos, dear indeed to every worshipper of sin, is that each one must sin and therefore deserves attack and death. This principle, closely related to the first, is the demand that errors call for punishment and not correction. For the destruction of the one who makes the error places her beyond correction and beyond forgiveness. What she has done is thus interpreted as an irrevocable sentence upon herself, which God herself is powerless to overcome. Sin cannot be remitted, being the belief the child of God can make mistakes, for which her own destruction becomes inevitable. Think what this seems to do to the relationship between the mother and the child. Now it appears that they can never be one again, for one must always be condemned, and by the other. Now are they different and enemies, and their relationship is one of opposition, just as the separate aspects of the child meet only to conflict but not to join. One becomes weak, the other strong by her defeat, and fear of God and of each other now appears as sensible, made real by what the child of God has done both to herself and her Creator. The arrogance on which the laws of chaos stand could not be more apparent than emerges here. Here is a principle that would define what the creator of reality must be, what she must think, and what she must believe, and how she must respond, believing it. It is not seen as even necessary that she be asked about the truth of what has been established for her belief. Her child can tell her this, and she has but the choice whether to take her word for it or be mistaken. This leads directly to the third preposterous belief that seems to make chaos eternal. For if God cannot be mistaken, she must accept her child's belief in what she is and hate her for it. See how the fear of God is reinforced by this third principle. Now it becomes impossible to turn to her help in misery, for now she has become the enemy who caused it, to whom appeal is useless. nor can salvation lie within the child, whose every aspect seems to be at war with her and justified in its attack. And now is conflict made inevitable, beyond the help of God, for now salvation must remain impossible, because the Savior has become the enemy. There can be no release and no escape. Atonement thus becomes a myth, and vengeance, not forgiveness, is the will of God. From where all this begins, there is no side of help that can succeed. Only destruction can be the outcome, and God herself seems to be siding with it to overcome her child. Think not the ego will enable you to find escape from what it wants. That is the function of this course, which does not value what the ego cherishes. The ego values only what it takes. This leads to the fourth law of chaos, which, if the others are accepted, must be true. This seeming law is the belief you have what you have taken. By this, another's loss becomes your gain, and thus it fails to recognize that you can never take away save from yourself. Yet all the other laws must lead to this. For enemies do not give willingly to one another, nor would they seek to share the things they value. And what your enemies would keep from you must be worth having, because they keep it hidden from your sight. All of the mechanisms of madness are seen emerging here. The enemy, made strong by keeping hidden the valuable inheritance that should be yours, your justified position and attack for what has been withheld, and the inevitable loss the enemy must suffer to save yourself. Thus do the guilty ones protest their innocence. Were they not forced into this foul attack by the unscrupulous behavior of the enemy, they would respond with only kindness. But in a savage world, the kind cannot survive, so they must take or else be taken from. And now there is a vague, unanswered question, not yet explained. What is this precious thing, this priceless pearl, this hidden secret treasure, to be wrested in righteous wrath from this most treacherous and cunning enemy? It must be what you want but never found. And now you understand the reason why you found it not, for it was taken from you by this enemy and hidden where you would not think to look. She hid it in her body, making it the cover for her guilt, the hiding place for what belongs to you. Now must her body be destroyed and sacrificed, that you may have that which belongs to you. Her treachery demands her death, that you may live, and you attack only in self-defense. But what is it you want that needs her death? Can you be sure your murderous attack is justified unless you know what it is for? And here a final principle of chaos comes to the rescue. It holds there is a substitute for love. This is the magic that will cure all of your pain, the missing factor in your madness that makes it sane. This is the reason why you must attack. Here is what makes your vengeance justified. Behold, unveiled, the ego's secret gift, torn from your sister's body, hidden there in malice and in hatred for the one to whom the gift belongs. She would deprive you of the secret ingredient that would give meaning to your life. The substitute for love, born of your enmity to your sister, must be salvation. It has no substitute, and there is only one. And all your relationships have but the purpose of seizing it and making it your own. Never is your possession made complete, and never will your sister cease her attack on you for what you stole, nor will God end her vengeance upon both, for in her madness she must have this substitute for love and kill you both. You who believe you walk in sanity with feet on solid ground and through a world where meaning can be found, consider this. These are the laws on which your sanity appears to rest. These are the principles which make the ground beneath your feet seem solid, and it is here you look for meaning. These are the laws you made for your salvation. They hold in place the substitute for heaven which you prefer. This is their purpose. They were made for this. There is no point in asking what they mean. That is apparent. The means of madness must be insane. Are you as certain that you realize the goal is madness? No one wants madness, nor does anyone cling to her madness if she sees that this is what it is. What protects madness is the belief that it is true. It is the function of insanity to take the place of truth. It must be seen as truth to be believed. And if it is the truth, then must its opposite, which was the truth before, be madness now. Such a reversal, completely turned around with madness sanity, illusions true, attack a kindness, hatred love, and murder benediction, is the goal the laws of chaos serve. These are the means by which the laws of God appear to be reversed. Here do the laws of sin appear to hold love captive and let sin go free. These do not seem to be the goals of chaos, for by the great reversal they appear to be the laws of order. How could it not be so? Chaos is lawlessness and has no laws. To be believed, its seeming laws must be perceived as real. Their goal of madness must be seen as sanity. And fear, with ashen lips and sightless eyes, blinded and terrible to look upon, is lifted to the throne of love, its dying conqueror, its substitute, the Savior from salvation. How lovely do the laws of fear make death appear. Give thanks unto the hero on love's throne, who saved the child of God for fear and death. And yet, how can it be that laws like these can be believed? There is a strange device that makes it possible, nor is it unfamiliar. We have seen how it appears to function many times before. In truth, it does not function. Yet, in dreams where only shadows play the major roles, it seems most powerful. No law of chaos could compel belief but for the emphasis on form and disregard of content. No one who thinks that one of these laws is true sees what it says. Some forms it takes seems to have meaning, and that is all. How can some forms of murder not mean death? Can an attack in any form be love? What form of condemnation is a blessing? Who makes her Savior powerless and finds salvation? Let not the form of the attack on her deceive you. You cannot seek to harm her and be saved. Who can find safety from attack? By turning on herself. How can it matter what the form this madness takes? It is a judgment that defeats itself, condemning what it says it wants to save. Be not deceived when madness takes a form you think is lovely. What is intent on your destruction is not your friend. You would maintain and think it true that you do not believe these senseless laws, nor act upon them, and when you look at what they say, they cannot be believed. Sister, you do believe them, for how else could you perceive the form they take with content such as this? Can any form of this be tenable? Yet you believe them for the form they take, and do not recognize the content. It never changes. Can you paint rosy lips upon a skeleton, dress it in loveliness, pet it and pamper it, and make it live? And can you be content with an illusion that you are living? There is no life outside of heaven. Where God created life, there life must be. In any state apart from heaven, life is an illusion. At best, it seems like life. At worst, like death. Yet both are judgments on what is not life, equal in their inaccuracy and lack of meaning. Life not in heaven is impossible, and what is not in heaven is not anywhere. Outside of heaven, only conflict of illusion stands, senseless, impossible, and beyond all reason, and yet perceived as an eternal barrier to heaven. Illusions are but forms. Their content is never true. The laws of chaos govern all illusions. Their forms conflict, making it seem quite possible to value some above the others. Yet each one rests as surely on the belief the laws of chaos are the laws of order as do the others. Each one upholds these laws completely, offering a certain witness that these laws are true. The seeming gentler forms of the attack are no less certain in their witnessing or their results. Certain it is illusions will bring fear, because of the beliefs that they imply, not for their form, and lack of faith and love in any form attests to chaos as reality. From the belief in sin, the faith in chaos must follow. It is because it follows that it seems to be a logical conclusion, a valid step in ordered thought. The steps to chaos do follow neatly from their starting point. Each is a different form in the progression of truth's reversal, leading still deeper into terror and away from truth. Think not one step is smaller than another, nor that return from one is easier. The whole descent from heaven lies in each one, and where your thinking starts, there it must end. Sister, take not one step in the descent to hell, for having taken one, you will not recognize the rest for what they are, and they will follow. Attack in any form has placed your foot upon the twisted stairway that leads from heaven. Yet any instant it is possible to have all this undone. How can you know whether you chose the stairs to heaven or the way to hell? Quite easily. How do you feel? Is peace in your awareness? Are you certain which way you go? And are you sure the goal of heaven can be reached? If not, you walk alone. Ask then your friend to go with you and give you certainty of where you go. I feel that this is a very important part of the text. We have laid out 4 laws of chaos. And if we think about it, do we not live in a universe of seeming entropy where everything is just due to spiral down into ever-increasing forms of chaos? The forms of seeming order only temporary and playing out their strange conflicts. We see a dog-eat-dog world. Even the plants compete for sunlight. There are wasps that lay their eggs in the heads of other insects and make them go mad. There's beauty in this world, sure, but there's madness everywhere too. Everything eats everything else. In a world of separate selves, each one has its own values to defend. The predator needs to eat meat to live. If the prey animals overpopulate, they decimate the food population that they need to get through the winter. In separation, you can't help but have differing values, and that can't help but lead to scarcity and conflict. And we have it descend into this concept of hell as being inevitable, that this system in self-aware beings leads to a belief in eternal punishment, an eternal punishment that even God herself can't fight against. And thus we see the arguments between various religious believers and those who don't believe in the doctrines. It's all insanity. A Course in Miracles has the radical teaching that all form leads to insanity, that only the formless united can be sane. And that is what it is asking us to be willing to return to, and to offer that same freedom to others by not holding them accountable for the illusion. We are to only hold ourselves accountable, and not in a sense of that we are deserving of punishment, but only that we are willing that it be undone, like a knot that we tied and is impossibly complicated and tight, and we are ready to see that knot be undone. A Course in Miracles has the radical teaching that love only exists in the formless, that any time there is form of any kind, there is fear in it, for it can be destroyed, it can be altered, it can be taken away, it can be lost. It's my understanding that when A Course in Miracles contrasts form versus content, content refers to love. Is there love in it? That's the content. And that all form is empty of love. But because this was created by the child of God, who is made of love, even yet there are ways in which love shines through the clouds of the illusion. That's why we see beauty. That's why there are moments of gentleness. Because we're always yearning for love. So of course we're going to see desirable things show up. The problem is they're all going to be transient. And they're all going to generate fear because of the possibility of their loss. The teaching is that leads to insanity. And I feel viscerally and very personally the fear of formlessness. It feels like annihilation and destruction. And we have so deep in our psyche this idea of Armageddon and the end of the world being this horrible, destructive thing. And A Course in Miracles teaches that no, the world ends in paradise. The world ends by the dream becoming sweet until we realize in that sweetness that we don't need form anymore. And so A Course in Miracles says, don't worry that you're just going to be hurled unprepared into heaven. The illusion is going to continue to exist as long as there is a single slave still enmeshed in illusion. And those of us who have decided to be committed to love and to the logical conclusion that love presents will continue to dip our toe into the illusion, offering love to our other selves here. Today's text reading speaks of this substitute for love, this salvation for which we would call for the death of our sister because she stole it from us. What is it? Well, it could be anything. It could take any form in the illusion. It could be money, it could be land, it could be a possession, it could be being right, it could be reputation, it could be acclaim and honor from others, it could be recognition, it could be anything. Whatever it is that you think will make you feel complete that you don't now have. Anything at all. That's the point. The illusion takes countless forms, an infinite number of forms, but it's not love. It's like the MacGuffin in a movie plot. The MacGuffin, it's the thing that everybody's trying to get that's so important. And the term the MacGuffin's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke, how it could be anything at all. All right, lesson 196. It can be but myself I crucify. When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself, nor make your body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a sister saves yourself, and you will understand her safety is your own, and in her healing you are healed. Perhaps at first you will not understand how mercy, limitless and with all things held in its sure protection, can be found in the idea we practice for today. It may, in fact, appear to be a sign that punishment can never be escaped because the ego, under what it sees as threat, is quick to cite the truth to save its lies. Yet must it fail to understand the truth it uses thus. But you can learn to see these foolish applications and deny the meaning they appear to have. Thus do you also teach your mind that you are not an ego, for the ways in which the ego would distort the truth will not deceive you longer. You will not believe you are a body to be crucified, and you will see within today's idea the light of resurrection, looking past all thoughts of crucifixion and of death to thoughts of liberation and of life. Today's idea is one step we take in leading us from bondage to the state of perfect freedom. Let us take this step today, that we may quickly go the way salvation shows us, taking every step in its appointed sequence, as the mind relinquishes its burdens one by one. It is not time we need for this, it is but willingness. For what would seem to need 1,000 years can easily be done in just one instant by the grace of God. The dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. Perhaps it seems to be salvation, yet it merely stood for the belief the fear of God is real. And what is that but hell? Who could believe her mother is her deadly enemy, separate from her and waiting to destroy her life and blot her from the universe without the fear of hell upon her heart? Such is the form of madness you believe. If you accept the fearful thought, you can attack another and be free yourself. Until this form is changed, there is no hope. Until you see that this, at least, must be entirely impossible, how could there be escape? The fear of God is real to anyone who thinks this thought is true, and she will not perceive its foolishness or even see that it is there, so that it would be possible to question it. To question it at all its form must first be changed, at least as much as will permit fear of retaliation to abate, and the responsibility returned to some extent to you. From there, you can at least consider if you want to go along this painful path. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive that it is but your thoughts that bring you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Our next steps will be easy if you take this one today. From there, we go ahead quite rapidly. For once you understand it is impossible that you be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. You cannot then believe that fear is caused without, and God, whom you had thought to banish, can be welcomed back within the holy mind she never left. Salvation's song can certainly be heard in the idea we practice for today. If it can be but you crucify, you did not hurt the world, and need not fear its vengeance and pursuit, nor need you hide in terror from the deadly fear of God projection hides behind. The thing you dread the most is your salvation. You are strong, and it is strength you want. And you are free and glad of freedom. You have sought to be both weak and bound because you feared your strength and freedom. Yet salvation lies in them. There is an instant in which terror seems to grip your mind so wholly that escape appears quite hopeless. When you realize once and for all that it is you fear, the mind perceives itself as split, and this had been concealed while you believed attack could be directed outward and returned from outside to within. It seemed to be an enemy outside you had to fear, and thus a God outside yourself became your mortal enemy, the source of fear. Now, for an instant, is a murderer perceived within you, eager for your death, intent on plotting punishment for you until the time when it can kill at last. Yet in this instant is the time as well in which salvation comes, for fear of God has disappeared, and you can call on her to save you from illusions by her love, calling her mother and yourself her child. Pray that the instant may be soon. Today, step back from fear and make advance to love. There is no thought of God that does not go with you to help you reach that instant and to go beyond it quickly, surely, and forever. When the fear of God is gone, there are no obstacles that still remain between you and the holy peace of God. How kind and merciful is the idea we practice. Give it welcome, as you should, for it is your release. It is indeed but you your mind can try to crucify, yet your redemption too will come from you. A Course in Miracles talks a lot about murder. It can be a little disturbing. It describes the ego as murderous, basically, wanting to kill us. That doesn't feel good. Well, if we see the entire universe as part of ourself, then everything that goes on in it, including things that seem really, really awful and nasty and horrible, is also us. So yeah, it's like when you really get this, at first you can feel horrified because you're like, oh, I am all of those awful things? It's like, yeah, but it's all illusion. None of it's real. And you can let it all go instantaneously the moment you call upon love and let it in. The only reason those things are there is because of the insanity, because you were hiding from yourself that all of it is you. Once you see it, you can relinquish attack forever. Give it up. And yes, the temptations will come to still go there. There will be times you forget. There are things about the illusion that cause us momentary blindness. Yeah, but you're going to remember a lot sooner. And that's all planned for. It's not like your mistakes are ever going to be punished. You're the only one punishing yourself. The moment you turn to love to correct you, your error is undone. Isn't that beautiful? So, happy practicing.